20 life hacks you should follow to grow personally, professionally, and socially. Follow these social rules and save yourself from gazillions of problems, headaches, and embarrassments at work and in life. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about 20 life hacks you should follow to grow personally, professionally, and socially. Now, these hacks are very easy, very simple to execute, but you got to know them. You have to, and not only know them, but you have to implement them. Number one, praise publicly and criticize privately. This is very important. If you have a close entourage, you have folks who really love you, people who are very close to you, it is always important to praise publicly. When you see them, when speaking about them publicly, you just want to say positive things. But in private, if you have a disagreement, if you have something that bothers you, you can talk to them. You can even tell them, you can criticize them harshly, if you will, and there will be no problem. And this rule is very important for close friends and married people in a relationship. You never want to criticize your partner publicly. Number two, never give advice until you're asked. Mind your business. I know people have experience and somehow they feel like, oh wow, I want to give experience, I want to give advice. You don't have to. Sometimes people just want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to have a place to vent, someone to talk to, but they're not asking for advice. They're not asking. If they want your advice, they will ask you. So always wait for folks to ask for advice before you volunteer one piece of advice. Number three, always return the favor. Now, it's very important that as we live in a world where gratitude is getting more and more important, you want to build your karma account, right? So if somebody makes a favor to you, extends a favor to you, always return the favor. Now, I'll give you an example, very simple example. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you have a close friend who pays for the meal, right? And everything is fine, and you insist on paying, but she says no. I'll take care of it. Next time when you meet with when you meet with her, offer to pay. Even if she says no, offer to pay. Insist also. Number four, be respectful towards everybody, especially children, people with disabilities, and people in lower economic and professional classes. This is very, very important, folks. Respect is not based on the person's hierarchy, the person's social status. So you want to be very, very respectful towards children, people with disabilities, people who are in lower economic and professional classes. Let me give you an example. You want to treat the cleaner at your office with the same respect as the CEO. Nobody is impressed and will ever be at how rudely you can treat someone below you, but people will notice if you treat them with respect. Number five, you always need to say thank you when somebody helps you. Gratitude will send you a long way, my friend. Gratitude is very important. Being thankful, always say thank you. Somebody takes their time, their energy to help you, go ahead and always say thank you. The thank you can be via email, on the phone, via text message. It doesn't matter. A thank you is a thank you. You can even write a letter. Number six, never forget those who have helped you in critical moments of your life, and never get mad at them for a long time. So if somebody has helped you in a very critical time, somebody has saved your life or was there when nobody else wanted to support you, you should never forget, because without them at this critical juncture in your life, you wouldn't be where you currently are. So it is important to remember those key helpers, what I call key helpers, folks who are angels, if you will, human angels, who will show up at a very important moment at a critical time in your life and help you. This could be your parents, this could be friends, this could be strangers. You always want to remember that moments, and if they do something bad in the future, if they just make you angry, for example, never get mad at them for a long time. You can get pissed for a while, for a short period, if you will, but never get mad at them for a long time. Number 7, Please respect different political opinions and avoid discussing politics altogether in public or in private unless you and your listeners share similar views, right? Politics is one of those, I would say, fiery subjects, controversial subjects. People take things for granted. They take it personally. It's like religion if you think about it, right? So you want to stay really, really away from those topics unless you are comfortable. The person is, you've known the person for a while, or you even share the same political views. I'll be right back right after this for more hacks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are still talking about 20 life hacks that you should use to grow personally, professionally, and socially. Now, I have given you 7 already, and we are now going to number 8. But before I do so, if you love the content you've been hearing so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so that you can be aware whenever we drop a new show. And we do this sort of beautiful shows every single day, rain or shine. Comment below, let us know the hack that you have, that you use to grow personally, professionally, and socially. Share this content and give this video a big like, a big thumbs up. Tickle the thumbs up, please. Number 8, stop teasing someone or joking with them if they don't seem to enjoy it, and never do it again. Now, it is important to understand that teasing someone or joking with them has to be something positive. It has to be something that is done in a loving way, in an affectionate way. When this thing turns into some kind of bullying, when you realize the person does not appreciate it or is not in a good mood, just stop it. It's not worth continuing it because you're only creating problems for yourself. You're only planting the seeds of a long-term bad relationship. You don't want that, right? Number 9. One thing that's very important lately with the advent of, with the ubiquity, if you will, of smartphones. You have smartphones everywhere. People sometimes share information, share content, and sometimes they might want to ask you, please, I'm going to show you a picture on my phone. So when someone shows you a photo on their phones, never swipe left or right, because you never know what's next or before. So never swipe. You want to let the person handle the phone themselves, and unless they give you the authorization, if they tell you please swipe, then you can go ahead and do it. Number 10, don't comment on somebody's weight. Never. This is a big no-no. You never want to comment on someone's weight, whether they lost weight or gained weight. This is a pretty sensitive subject. If you feel like you want to make a comment, just say you look great, you look gorgeous, or you look handsome. Now, remember, the reason why you don't want to talk about it is similar to what I said about advice. They're not asking you for anything. If they don't want to talk about losing weight, they will. Number 11, always open the door for the person coming behind you. And this is not just courtesy. It is just simple social etiquette. It doesn't matter if it is a guy or a girl. You don't grow small. You never grow small by treating someone well in public, right? You always get the credibility, you always get the karma benefits. Respect different views on religion, faith, and spirituality in general. So you want to avoid discussing religion in public or in private unless you and your listeners share similar views. Now, this edict, this guideline also applies to politics. It's similar to what I said about politics, right? So politics and religion are two of the most sensitive topics. And the third is food, is the diet. But it is important to pay attention to those. If you are in a congregation, if you are in a place where people start talking about religion, you want to back off. You want to stay away, because this conversation can really get into something else. As a matter of fact, people kill for religious purposes, right? I mean, I don't have to name any names or whatever. We have a lot of religions. As a matter of fact, all religions throughout centuries have had some kind of violent episodes in their history. All of them. So Avoid discussing religion in public or in private. Number 13, mind your own business unless anything involves you directly. So you just want to stay away from things that do not involve you. You have to choose your battles properly, folks. You want to be very strategic in what you get yourself involved in. If anything has no direct correlation to you, or indirect, depending upon the situation, stay out of it. Number 14, if you're talking to anybody in the street, have eye contact. If you have sunglasses, take them off. It shows respect. And you have to understand that more eye contact is as important as your speech. The person needs to be able to connect with you, and the connection is not just through your mouth and the tone of your voice. It's also around your eyes. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm still talking today about 20 life hacks you should follow to grow personally, professionally, and socially. I've already given you 14. Let's move on to number 15. Don't call anyone more than twice continuously. You know, that's kind of crazy where you're calling someone on the phone, you're calling someone on their smartphone and they don't respond, or at work and you call them 3, 4, 5 times. That's like harassment, right? So if someone does not want to answer your call, that means they have something else to do. They have something more important to attend to, right? It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that they're trying to ghost you or whatever. No, they're just busy. So if you call them twice, and especially I would even say call once and leave a message, or send a text message, because everybody reads text messages. They open them. So if the person is busy or is in a setting where they cannot talk, at least they can read your message. All right. Number 16, you always want to repay loans on time, preferably before the lender remembers he or she has given you a loan. Now, by doing that, by paying people in advance, you are showing honesty, you are showing character, you are showing integrity. Right? You don't have to wait for someone who has given you something to ask for it before you give it back to them. Next, you never want to order the expensive dish on the menu when somebody is inviting you. Now, if a colleague, a friend, a relative is treating you for lunch or dinner, don't go for the most expensive rib or the most expensive guacamole, whatever. Don't pick the most expensive dish. It shows lack of courtesy, lack of empathy. Even if the person is rich, you always want to let them ask the person who invited you to order their choice of food for you. Next, if a coworker or someone else tells you they have a doctor's appointment, don't never, ever, ever ask what it's for. You can just try to be polite and say, I hope you're okay. Because remember, if someone wants to talk about it, if they have a medical condition, something that's bothering them and they have to pay attention to, if they want to open up to you, they will let you know. Don't put any person in the uncomfortable position of having to tell you their personal fitness, their personal illness, rather. All right? If they're fit or not fit, doesn't matter. It's their private issue. Number 19, don't stare at your phone if someone is speaking directly to you. This is just crazy. This is so rude, like so rude. And I'm just very surprised a lot of folks still do this. Even at parties, you go to a party and people are sitting around and everybody's on the couch, or a family reunion for that matter, and people are just sitting on their couch and everybody's just glued to the screen of their phone. And even when somebody's talking to you, they're taking the time to answer that last WhatsApp message. It's very rude, impolite, discourteous, folks. So don't do this. And the last but not the least, if you haven't seen anyone for a while, you haven't talked to the person for a while, don't say things like, oh, you aren't married yet, or you're still living in the same place, or you haven't bought a house yet, you're still driving the same car, don't make comment based on the past, because you're trying to put the person in a box, and this can be very uncomfortable. You haven't seen them for a while. That's fantastic. Hey, how you doing? It's been a while. I hope you're doing fantastic. You look great. You look gorgeous. Because at the end of the day, it's not your problem if they aren't married yet, if they haven't bought a house, if they still live in the old neighborhood that they've lived in the last 20 years. It's none of your business. All right? I hope this was pretty helpful to you. Go ahead and put in the comment which one you liked, which number you liked, and most importantly, also share your own hacks to grow professionally, personally, and socially. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.